How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to focus in on the new signings made by the Seoul Dynasty a couple of days ago. I originally didn't think it was worth reporting on this since I'm pretty sure most people have never even heard of either Illicit or Highly, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized how interesting these pickups truly are. In case you have no idea what I'm talking about, then let me provide context by putting the official tweet made by the Seoul Dynasty up on the screen. They made this tweet on March 5th, and in it they announced the official addition of the DPS player Illicit and the flex support player Highly to the main roster. As I mentioned before, I'd say most people haven't heard of either of these guys before, and this includes myself. I didn't know either of them existed until a couple of days ago when I saw the announcement on Twitter. Since these are unfamiliar faces, let me provide a little bit of background on both of them. Starting off with Highly, he really doesn't have much pro experience. He's only played in 2 official tournaments, and the only significant event he was a part of was Overwatch Contenders Korea Season 3. He played flex support for the O2 Blast team during this time, and in case you were wondering, O2 Blast used to be called O2 Ardiant before Season 3, which is the team that a decent amount of players from the Toronto Defiant were on before they joined the Overwatch League. Highly and the rest of O2 Blast didn't perform all too well during this season. They went 1-4 during the regular season, so they failed to qualify for the playoffs. The heroes that Highly is mostly known for are Ana, Zenyatta, and Sombra. Illicit, on the other hand, has much more pro experience than Highly does. Illicit's most recent team was Blossom. He played DPS for them for about 13 months. He competed in the first 3 seasons of Overwatch Contenders Korea during his time with the team, and they found very little success, unfortunately. His team failed to make the playoffs even once in those 3 seasons while he was there, and they never finished higher than 9th place in the standings. Although Illicit has been part of the Tier 2 scene for a while now, he's never got much experience playing in those high-pressure situations since his team was never very good. Illicit will most likely fill the projectile role for the Dynasty since his best heroes are Junkrat, Pharah, and Genji. I'm sure that some of you are asking why the heck did these signings even matter at all? And I was once in that boat too, so I can understand where you're coming from there, but these new player acquisitions could be a lot more significant than you think. Look at what positions they filled, and it might make a bit more sense. The only flex support player on the roster before Highly joined was Jaehong, of course. I don't want to read too much into this, but I'd say there's a possibility that the Dynasty are going to try putting Highly in the lineup instead of Jaehong. I'm not trying to say this is definitely going to happen or anything, but I think it's fair to have it fall into the realm of possibility. I hope I don't sound super toxic when saying this, but Jaehong just doesn't look like the same player that he once was. I've kind of felt this way for a while now. He just seems kind of washed up at times. His Ana still really good, but his Zen just isn't on par with some of the other players in the league. It's kind of sad too though, because his Zen used to get the job done. I really feel like he just hasn't been the same player since the start of Stage 3 last year. The Dynasty are in danger of missing the playoffs yet again, and maybe giving a young player with some unseen potential a chance is exactly what this team needs to turn things around. Illicit was more than likely added to help give the Dynasty more options at DPS. They only had 3 players at this position coming into the season, which I personally did not think was enough, so I'm glad they picked up another one. And if you've been following my channel for a while now, then you know how I feel about the Dynasty's DPS situation. Fleta is a god, but he's never had a partner in crime that can play consistently alongside him. Munchkin was decent at times last year, but he wasn't a big difference maker for the most part, I'd say. He's not bad at Tracer or Widow, but the rest of his hero pool is kind of weak in my opinion. The other DPS player on the team is Fitz, and he has even less experience than Highly does. He's only competed in Open Division and Contenders Trials, so I'm assuming he's more of a raw prospect that's going to take some time to groom into a solid player. He might not even play at all this year if he doesn't improve enough and if his coaches just don't think he's ready. The Dynasty desperately need options at DPS in case Munchkin underperforms, so getting Illicit seems like a pretty smart idea. Signing 2 players who pretty much have no accolades seems like a real turnoff, but I recommend not underestimating either of these guys. I'm not sure how many of you know about Fleta's history, but before the Overwatch League, he played for a team known as Flash Lux. They were a team that participated in Apex, which is basically the Korean version of the Overwatch League before the Overwatch League even existed. You want to know how well Flash Lux did in the 3 seasons of Apex that Fleta was a part of? They finished in the bottom 3 or 4 every single time. Did this matter coming into the Overwatch League? No, not at all. Fleta is one of the best players this league has to offer. Inexperience and lack of accolades could end up not mattering at all for Illicit and Highly if they play well enough. There's a chance they end up being really good, kind of like with Fleta. I don't think you can rule it out. So that's basically how I feel about these new signings made by the Dynasty. These players could potentially become key pieces in the lineup at some point in the future. There's also a chance they end up just being bench players, but I don't think the Dynasty would sign new players mid-season just to not play them. While it's too early to tell if they'll have an impact quite yet, I still recommend not sleeping on Illicit or Highly. Keep an eye on them if you get the chance to watch them play. They could be just what the Dynasty needed to make them more of a competitive team. With that being said, that's everything I got for you guys today. If you enjoyed today's content, then be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching today's video, and now I'm out of here. Peace.